Okay, guys, so let me listen to music while I was doing this. So I guess I'm just gonna talk while I kind of do this. I gotta get this done. It's our project with that trailer or whatever, or camper or whatever that my dad's doing. So we're helping. Plus, he paid us up. We gotta do it. So I figured I would just make a video while I'm doing this and talk instead of trying to listen to music and do a live feed because honestly, it just kicks me off because it doesn't like the fact that I play music because it tries to say it's uh, whatever the fuck. Anyways, sorry, I cussed. Anyways, so this is what we're doing. We're doing a full trailer or whatever. And so we're trying to get all the wood off of it because you don't get for price if you don't clean it off or whatever with the wood and stuff, blah blah blah. So that's what we're doing. Now, wow, I'm doing this though. So, God's been showing me here lately with some things that have been going on in my life that when you've been doing things the same way for a while and like you go to like sometimes when you have to go to redo things and you don't know how to redo them or you don't know about those things you're going to have to redo, sometimes it takes us to actually just trust and don't worry about like all the changes we're going to have to make because it'll probably be a lot. I mean, like me, it's a lot because we let ourselves go for so long, you know? So God's been showing me through that if I would just trust as, I trust to move, stop focusing on what all I'm going to have to change and what all, like, that is, about whatever. Stop focusing so much on that because that will get us overwhelmed to the point where we just, like, we won't want to do it because we are looking at all things we ourselves would have to change. And some of us are going to be like, oh my God, I can't do that on my own, blah, blah, blah. Which we can't do it on our own. And so it is going to require us to get real with God, and give Him some time instead of, wasting it on other things and actually take and do what, but it takes us to accept that we're not going to know until we just trust to make the steps, you know? So that's kind of where I was at. God's showing me that, like, there's going to be times that I don't know, and you're not going to know until you know that it needs to change. Because sometimes we get so stuck in stuff, And if He showed us everything like that before we did what we needed to do, we wouldn't do it because we would be so overwhelmed with all that we got to do. So sometimes I've noticed I even take it better when God shows me just to trust and then what we'll need fixed, and adjusted, do it as you go. And like, at first I didn't understand that because I'm one of those that I worry about everything anyways. I overthink everything anyways. And so I can't help it. So God was showing me as we were bringing this trailer back, like every so often the truck would overheat, so we'd have to stop. But then something would happen with the camper trailer, so then we would have to stop and fix it. And God started showing me through that each time we stopped, we would have to fix something that would bring us to have to stop. So those things that brought us to a stop, as long as we trusted Him, was like the deal is that we didn't know the shape of this as much, so we just hooked on to it, secured it, and went. And God was showing me, like, each time it brought us to a stop, we had to critique or fix or allow it. We had to fix something to allow us to be able to get up and go again. Or like the truck would get overheated. But then that overheatment also brought us to be able to fix whatever we needed to do to be able to let us get it to the house. And God started showing me, like, through that with myself, like, I just got to trust Him enough to know when to move, to go. And yeah, there's things about me and there's things that I'm going to have to change, that I'm going to have to do, or that I'm going to have to fix, or I'm going to have to critique, or whatever. Or I'm going to have to get rid of old belief systems, whatever, what have you, old lies of myself that I've played into because of Satan and people, and thinking I fucking freaking need to care about what people think. And like, that's people pleasing. So God started showing me through all that there's gonna be things that I need to fix, definitely. But that's not what He's just worried about. What He's worried about is me trusting Him when He says just move, just do it, just do something, just go, just go the opposite of what you normally would, and just trust that even though you know that there's gonna be a lot of work, or you don't know what's gonna be ahead of you, or what's gonna bring you to a halt, but just trust that God goes ahead of us. And that's what matters, that God goes ahead of us and He plans for that. And so He will find us favor and He'll find us grace and He'll find us through it if we just go, if we just trust and go. No matter what the situation looks like, or what we feel, or what we think is going to happen, like, or what we got to fix, or what we're not going to be good enough for, we're not supposed to worry about that. Hi, baby. Because all that's just going to keep us distracted, you know? So through that, that's what God started showing me through this, is that no matter what I'm going to have to fix, or work that's going to have to be done, or what's ahead of me, I just got to trust to know when God says move, or go in a direction, or just do something different than I normally do, or old patterns or old cycles, do the complete opposite of. Try something different and new that is going to actually bring the consistency of what I want in my life, instead of bringing me the old stuff, because we bring in what we're putting out. So like, if we're around bad people, or we're around chaos, or we're around whatever, or we're around drugs, or we're around whatever is our darkness that we're struggling with, or that we're going through, or whatever it is the case may be, like, that's what we're going to attract in, even though we don't mean to. But that's Satan's way of helping us pretty much crush our own selves. See what I'm saying? So we got to trust when God says just change your direction. Don't worry about what you're going to have to change or critique, or you're going to have to fix. Just go. And God's direction, our flesh is really going to fight against it. Satan's really going to try to bring in confusion. But then we got to remember, God is not a God of confusion. He's a God of peace. That was my first scripture God had ever shared with me when I was at the Dream Center. And I got to remind myself of that, because it's really easy for me to allow Satan to psych me out on what I know God just says. Don't worry about all the minor stuff right now. Just worry about you actually getting up and moving and trusting and not questioning. And if I do question, I need to find the ability to have that peace with that surpasses all understanding. But you have to trust, you have to seek God, you have to want it. But I know in times of darkness, we get really fixated on the little small stuff, or what we're going to have to do for it to actually come about for ourselves in our lives. So I hope this kind of summed up a little bit anyways. But okay, so I'm done with my video. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. I'm trying to post. Follow me. Push that like button. That subscribe button. Sorry I'm kind of lame and lame, but I promise I'm only letting you enjoy and see my growth that God's doing for me and helping me with my life. So I think it's also Get out of my camera. You just put your butt in my camera. That's my dad's cat, by the way. Yeah. For that, you're gay. Yeah. Anyways, just trust, guys. I hope watching me and my growth and my trials and my vulnerability with what I'm trying to do helps those who struggle or in that screw it and just giving up mode. Like, it starts little, you know what I mean? And it may be kind of lame at first, and it's going to be a lot of work, but if I'm trusting and it's something I really want with God and I'm really seeking God out with it, I'll see the fruits of it. We just got to remember that our timing is not God's timing. God's timing is nothing, because we're such a microwavable society, you know what I mean, in the world, that we want everything here and now and how we want it and our expectations and what we think of it. And sometimes we just got to trust not knowing those things, because God's ways and God's desires and God's what he would desire for us isn't nearly what we, because we as humans settle and allow ourselves to settle for what we think, which sells ourselves short versus what God would give us and what God sees us and can do with us. Just remember, we can't do it on our own. And that's what even I fail to forget sometimes, because man's way is not God's way, and God's way is not man's way. So, okay. I appreciate you guys. My dad's cat's being annoying, so she's mad about it. Huh. Yeah. So, peace out, Monkey Grease. Love. If you need prayers, check out my group on Facebook. It's Breaking Point, Lost But Not Forgotten. It's an awesome group. I hope everyone is having a wonderful starting weekend. And I pray everybody has a good rest of their weekend and has a good starting of the week. God bless. Thanks. My goodness.